King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at kingcomics.ca, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby. Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex, and this is Big Baby Reviews. Now, I know what you're saying. That is not a comic book, and you would be absolutely right in saying that. This is not a comic book. What is this? This is an audiobook that I had as a kid. For kids of my generation, I think most little boys are fans of Transformers. And this is actually predates the comics that we reviewed in episode 1 and 2. So the reason I'm pulling this out is because, again, it was very inspirational at a drawing level, so I started drawing, I don't even remember when I started drawing. And as a kid, I would look at these, before comics and stuff. This is the kind of thing I would look at, the books, to try and emulate and draw what was in there myself. Not succeeding most of the time, obviously, as a kid. But that's where the impetus definitely started and came from. What you'll notice about this book, no credits for the artist. I'm going to assume as well. I mean, as a kid, I love this book, but now going through it, the artwork is, I wouldn't say subpar. I mean, it's fine, but I really feel this was like, a very low level contract that took someone an afternoon to draw up. But didn't do a bad job. It's okay. It's serviceable. And you can tell that most of the drawings were literally taken from the toy designs or drawings of the toy designs that appeared on the cards. When you would buy those Transformers as a kid, there was always obviously this kind of painted version of the hero or villain robot that you were buying. So why this is so memorable to me as well is because it was an audiobook. I don't have the cassette, unfortunately, anymore, but as a kid, I did. I had a little ghetto blaster that I could use, and I went through this book hundreds of times. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but maybe not that far off. I know lots and lots of times, for sure. What's great is that because of online I guess archives and stuff from back in the day that can be found for educational purposes. I have found clips from the audio from the cassette or disc, because you could have a cassette or disc with this, records and tapes. And I'll play an excerpt when we get to that page, just so you have an idea for obviously educational purposes, how that kind of worked together. The audio quality is not great. I mean, we'll try to do, hopefully the best, and at least you can kind of get a good idea of what that sounded like while you're reading the book. But as a kid, like I said, this, was one of my favorite things. Now, I thought I'd lost this as a kid and bought it again at some point, just to show you how faulty our memory can be. I opened this up and was, surprised and delighted to find out that this book belongs to me, right? Obviously, not my adult handwriting. So I must have written this when I got it. Now, here's the thing. 1985, I am 4 years old until December. Then I turned 5. So for most of the year, probably got this new. I am 4 years old, so I've probably started writing a bit. From what I can tell, I can write my name. But, my address is not sure I could even understand what this said. So I think I just figured I had to copy it again. And that seems to be what I did here. And some of the letters, like I said, look a bit off. Again, 4 years old. So intro page, this is always fun. You have the guy on the audio actually reading this out, explaining how it worked. Hi, everybody. This is your Transformers read-along book. Every time you hear the sound, you'll hear... No, you won't actually hear it in the audio, but it doesn't really matter. If you go check it out, you'll hear it. Every time you hear this sound, some sort of bing, ba-ding, whatever, it means it's time to turn the page in your storybook. Now, if you are ready, we will start the story, Storms of Destruction. Don't forget to turn the page every time you hear the sound, and then the sound goes again. And then obviously you turn the page. So, we're not going to read through the whole story, but again, pretty sparse artwork here. As I said, I can imagine this took no time at all. And again, these are designs that, and especially this one here, I know I've seen that pose on the box or the toy representation, you know, the painted figure. Definitely this I've seen before in promotional material, whatever, and straight from the toy. So this was reproduced. Was it even light box, you know, shrunk down and then put paper on top of it on a light box and just kind of trace the major lines and then, you know, finish it off. Maybe, or maybe just even eyeballing it where you're actually looking at someone else's drawing or design and just kind of reproducing it. I guess it's one or the other, or a bit of both, you know, whatever to get the job done. That's what this seems like from an artist's point of view, is like, man, this is not a super, you know, paying contract. I got to get this done quick and move on to something else. But still effective. Again, I'm not saying it's bad in any way. Again, as a 5-year-old, love this. Love this kind of machinery here. I'm not sure if that's a transformer or not, but that just kind of looks cool. I like that. Again, these two shots I know for sure are from like the toy boxes and stuff, you know, just done bigger, fully painted and stuff. And this artist just was not wasting time and just looked at those designs and reproduced them real quick. Most of this is, you know, probably definitely ink and then a lot of markers, I think. I would guess a lot of markers. You could see it here. Again, well done. Just very, very effective and quick. So here's where we're gonna, you know, I'll try to point you out as best as I can. Here's the audio sample again for educational purposes. Here we go.
Yelling to be heard over the machine, Megatron announced,
"With this new tutter boring mold machine, I shall bring to bear everything I have learned these past months."
Absolutely, mighty Megatron. We are fully prepared now to go forward with the master plan.
We? What have you learned, you cassette stuff-wit? You know only what I tell you, and I have not revealed my grand design to anyone yet.
In their robot.
So there you go. I was able to get the sound in there. So that's what it was. Something like that. So as you heard too, and you probably noticed if you watched the Transformers when you were a kid, those are not the cartoon voices at all. Again, this is like really early, so who knows if that was yet to be fully coordinated and if all, you know, the voice actors for the cartoon were doing all these other little things. So this was possibly done before or during that early production of the Transformers cartoon. So yeah, Megatron with a slightly British accent, kind of odd. Listen, let's talk about the Megatron toy, right? Like, again, these are shots straight. I think, man, like, is that the same shot? And he just didn't do much, you know. Anyways, this is definitely a shot from I remember from the toy card or the box. And again, I was going to say about Megatron, let's just be honest, even as a kid, we had a huge laugh because the toy design really, come on, man. Like, Megatron just has a mega mechanical penis there, you know, the rounded shapes and stuff. Like it's just, I have a hard time thinking no one, you know, in the production, because these were made in Japan, no one in production at that point when they were making this realized or noticed. They would have had to. So you can't tell me that they didn't. It is an odd design choice for sure. This would predate by at least a few years. If you guys remember the Punisher toy that had a similar issue, if you're not sure about that, just, you know, Google that too. Clash of styles I find on this page, like the chimpanzee, monkey, the birds here done in a completely kind of weird off style to these two. I guess it works because, you know, robots and organic. Just a little off-putting to me now. Again, as a kid, love this stuff. There's another very inventive pose. Even as a kid, I remember this being funny. This confusing me, right? As a kid, because I'm like, is he on his hand? Is he way back there? What's going on there? And now, you know, today as an artist, a little more seasoned than when I was 5 years old, I do think you have to avoid these kind of things when you're drawing. You know, I don't see much of it, but there's an issue here for sure, which with what we call tangents. Too many things from different planes. And when I say planes, you know, something close to you, something somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the background, When all those things kind of meet, it creates visual confusion, So here, a solution would have been to move this hand down a bit, make it clear that this character, I assume, is supposed to be on this ground here. So maybe move it up a bit so we see it go past and behind him. Tangents, maybe get rid of this foliage here that just confuses issues. Yeah, just kind of a straight line across here for the somewhat horizon, and move that hand down. So it's usually just a few millimeters this way or a bit up, and that fixes that problem of visual confusion because of those tangents. So here they are underground with their digging machine. Some of these shots I think are a little more inventive, or had to be. Maybe I feel like possibly at this point he had the toys, the actual toys, and was just kind of turning them around and posing them. I kind of like this. It's interesting. It's very geometrical and square and boxy, but definitely works. Here he's getting away with not a lot of detail in these things, but I will say he's, he can't be a bad artist because it's very effective. So few lines and it's a Jeep. You know what I mean? So few lines, but it's that specific Transformer whose name escapes me right now. I'm not a Transformers super fan, but I recognize that. I'm pretty sure it's the police car. More shots here, just like before, that are more up close. I do really think that the artist had the toys in front of him, was using them directly as models. I remember having Optimus Prime specifically, didn't have this guy. This is very accurate. Quickly drawn, but again, I like it because it does confer some more energy to it, because I feel like it's quickly done. Quickly done never means bad necessarily. Yeah, so Megatron, I think, has discovered some sort of oil well or source of oil to turn into Energon. This is just an odd drawing. I'm not quite sure what is happening. Okay. No Transformers in it, so as a kid, I probably skipped over this real quick. Not very interesting. Cool drawing of a twister, a tornado. But other than that, no Transformers going on. This is a great shot too, because that is most definitely, again, because it's close up, straight from the toy. If you're drawn from the toy, that's the only reason you draw this plate there, because the head would flip back in the back of the Beetle here, the VW Beetle that Bumblebee represents. And there's no reason to draw this unless you're literally drawing from the toy and not even deciding to take that out for the artwork for the book, just doing it as is. This is literally an observational drawing of the toy, just like when we saw this one here, and there was the Megatron over here. And yeah, gets to the last page. He was pretty happy to get through his contract, I think. And that last page, very effective, but let's move on. You got a directional device. This is done. We're going out. And you've got 3 really quick drawings. We get it. The colors kind of clue us into who they are, but I mean, there's not much going on. This could have been drawn in 4 minutes. Maybe less. It's possible. Again, a talented artist who knows how to break it down, keep it super simple so that, story flow, understanding of what's going on is still very clear, but a simple and effective style. And of course, back then, some interesting things you can get, records and tapes for. Garfield, Pac-Man, Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes, Raggedy Ann and Andy, Benji. Some of the stuff I know, some of it I don't. Masters of the Universe, of course. I'm pretty sure I had a few of those books. Space Shuttle Columbia. 2001 Space Odyssey. I'd be interested in that. One of my, if not my favorite movie. So yeah, maybe I should hunt that down. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see Knight Rider, My Little Pony, staples of 80s kind of kids cartoon and TV show interests, and many more, of course. And there you go, Talking Storybook, a delightful, entertaining way to encourage children to read. Sure, I wouldn't argue that. Pretty sure it helped me along the way. I enjoy reading comic books. So that's where some of that started, right here. Transformers, Storms of Destruction. You guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow.